Hi, my name's Tara Harris, and my partner for this assignment is Theresa Patterson. I'm going to go over our hypothetical. I apologize in advance for the poor quality of this video. I'm having to utilize my iPad and set it up by myself on the table. So, again, I apologize in advance, but I do want to discuss our hypothetical that we were given and show you how we came about our queries for this assignment. First off, I have on my computer screen, I hope you can see here, I have kind of a split screen going on. I've got our hypothetical that I typed up in a Word document, and then I have LexisNexis already pulled up on my screen so that I don't have to waste any time with that. Theresa and I both feel more comfortable using LexisNexis. It's what we've been using during our time as paralegals in the military justice system, and it's what we learned when we were in school as well. We have played around with Westlaw, but we've both, through talking, have decided that LexisNexis is easier for us to use. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and read the hypothetical. We were given a scenario involving a DUI. A client comes into the office and relates the following facts. After an argument with his spouse, the client and his friend, Jack Daniels, go out to his car to cool off. As it is winter, he turns on the car for heat. The car is parked on the street in front of his house. He does not move the car. He and Jack just ruminate. While he is sitting there, he is approached by the police and subsequently arrested for DUI. The attorney asks you to find any relevant case law indicating if the client is guilty of DUI. So I'll go ahead and tell you how we started. Theresa is from South Carolina and I'm from Georgia, so we're both from the southern states. What we did was we decided to pair off individually and do some research for each of our respective states. I went on to Lexis looking for case law for this assignment for Georgia. She did the same thing for South Carolina, and then we met to discuss notes and to talk about the different case law we found. After discussing how we found our case law and talking about what we found, we decided that we would go with a case that she found from South Carolina. She was actually to find a case that was almost identical to the scenario we were given, so of course it was on point. I was unable to locate one on point or even close to on point for Georgia, so we decided to go with her case law because we thought it would best suit our fact pattern. So just to open up LexisNexis here, I already have it minimized in the screen. So I hope you can see that. I'm going to adjust the computer screen a little bit, and again, I apologize for any glare that there is. Try to fix that. So, how we both start, we're going to go under States, and then we're going to click the Legal U.S. option. Next, since we chose her case law, we're going to click on South Carolina. And then to get South Carolina state-specific cases, you want to bypass the federal combined cases because we're not going to be looking for federal cases. We just want to look for the specific state. So we're going to go under Find Cases and click under that State Cases option. And you're going to click here under Go. Okay, so how we both did our searches, both of us like to use natural language. I myself personally am not comfortable with terms and connectors. I have utilized them in the past, but I have tended to find it easier to pull up the case laws that I like under natural language or sometimes utilizing the easy search option. So, like I said, we both looked for different states, but some of the search terms I used for this, of course, were DUI, arrested in the car, DUI while parked car. I used a lot of search terms involving the parked car option. And you just kind of trial and error. You play around with it until you find something that works for you. This particular case will pop up using different search terms, but I think when I went to rerun her search, we talked about it, and I typed in engine running, and then I just threw in DUI on top of that and hit search. And in this particular scenario, it'll be the first case that comes up. So, of course, there's extra cases here, but the first one that pops up is State v. Graves, and that's the case that we decided to go with. And again, we just used different search terms and just played around with the options until we found this. So you want to click on it, and then the case is going to pop up here. So we've already read this in advance, but I'm going to go ahead and download it. And to do that, I like to hit the disk button right here. And then it takes a minute to pop up. So if you click under, it's already formatted for a Word document. You're going to click under download. And again, it takes a minute to download. This case is going to be 8 pages. And then you're going to, ready to download will pop up here. I always click on this. And then you can open. You could just save, but right now I want to open the file. So we'll hit OK. And then this is how it pops up to where you can save it in your documents or your desktop. And then this is how it's easy to print this way. So I'm actually going to go ahead. I've created a folder already under my document. So I want to hit Save As and go under Word Document. And then I have created a subfolder called Research Video. And then I like to relabel my cases State v. Graves. So now I know exactly where to go back and find it. Okay, but let's go ahead and look at the case first. So now that we've already saved it on our documents and we found it under Lexis, you're going to look at the very top, State v. Johnny Graves. This was a South Carolina case decided in the Supreme Court of South Carolina. Citation would be 269 SC 356. So first, you want to scroll through this first section here. And then the opinion by the Supreme Court is the first thing you notice. Now this is a case where, very similar to our fact pattern, Graves, he was pulled over, or actually he was approached by a patrolman. It says here November 1st, 1975. He was in a parked car outside of a highway, hunched over his steering wheel. Now you'll notice right here the first thing that pops up for me is with the engine running, transmission in gear, and leaning over the steering wheel. Very similar to our fact pattern in this case. The patrolman approached him, but he never actually saw him drive the car, but he did notice the strong odor of alcohol. So he had been drinking and he noticed the physical impairment, as it states here, and then the patrolman placed him under arrest. When the patrolman was asked if the appellate in this case was in control of the car, he said it was his opinion that he was, but he never actually saw him. So in this case, the respondent was found guilty, and then he wanted to appeal the decision, and he was fined for $100, and he was required to serve 30 days. So then it goes to the different statutes and the questions that are placed here. And it talks about the statutes that prohibit driving a motor vehicle while under the influence of intoxicating liquor, and those prohibiting operating a motor vehicle, or while similar in condition exist to protect users against the hazards of driving under the influence. But they say that there's a clear distinction between these two terms. And of course, in our case, he wasn't actually driving. In this same thing in this case here. So I'm not going to go over the whole thing. We've read it in advance, but I want to go over the parts up here, because the Supreme Court in this case, the opinion stated that because he was not driving or because the patrolman didn't see him, that he wasn't in clear control of the vehicle. So right here, we hold that within the meaning of Section 56.5, 2930, the word drive requires that the vehicle to be in motion to constitute the offense. This requirement may be met by either direct or circumstantial evidence. In this case, it was found that there was no evidence to indicate that he was driving. And then here, where it goes further right there about what I just said, since there was no showing by direct or circumstantial evidence that respondent had placed his vehicle in motion while under the influence of intoxicants. That's why the Supreme Court in this case reversed the decision and decided that there was no proof to indicate that he actually was in physical control of the vehicle. So this case, like I said, is very similar to our fact pattern here. Of course, there was a dissenting opinion, and you can go down and find this here. But the big thing we're going to hit on is, you know, how we came about the search. Like I said, we both chose natural language. A lot of cases similar to this, but this particular case, the fact pattern was almost identical to what our assignment was. So I've highlighted some of the language that we would want to go back to and look at later if you're going back and reviewing the case. And then now that I have my language highlighted, again, this section right here is important. It has other preceding case law, and then it talks about the distinction between the term drive as opposed to operate, and that's how the Supreme Court made their decision. So I want to highlight that as well. And then I can just save because I've already created the file for it. So now the case law has been highlighted. And again, this was South Carolina State v. Graves. So we can go back under Lexis and see where we found that. And this is how it shows up on Lexis right here. So you can go through and read the case, and then like I said, you can print or download the option right here. I do want to play just for a second to see if it pops up another way. I ran the search in advance just to make sure that everything turned out all right for the videotaping process. But you can type in, let's say, arrested, caps locks, for DUI while in parked car. Like I said, I did parked car a lot. You could type engine running, it'll probably pop up as well. This one pops up a different case. I want to see if Graves shows up on here. So let me do focus terms. This is another option up here at the top where I'm pointing at focus terms. You can type in, I'm going to try to type in engine running and see what comes up. And again, instantly it pops up. The only case that pops up when you add the focus term of engine running is State v. Graves. So this is another way where you can play with your search terms to where you can find the better cases or the results that you need. So all I did was add the term engine running to that, and our case pulled up instantly. So I hope this was helpful to you. Again, this is Tara Harris, and my partner for this assignment is Theresa Patterson. She was from South Carolina, I was from Georgia, and we used her case, which was State v. Graves. Thank you. Bye.